The quantum resonance drive of the RSS Horizon hummed with a soft, almost imperceptible vibration as Dr. Elena Rodriguez adjusted the navigation parameters. Her fingers danced across holographic interfaces, each movement precise and calculated. Behind her, a diverse crew of human scientists and explorers monitored various systems, their collective anticipation palpable in the cramped research vessel. Quantum displacement in 3, 2, 1, announced Marcus Chen, the ship's quantum navigation specialist. The stars outside momentarily blurred into streaks of brilliant light before snapping back into crisp pinpoints. They had ventured further than any human expedition before, pushing the boundaries of known space into regions that existed only as theoretical coordinates in astronomical databases. The Horizon was more than just a spacecraft, it was humanity's latest testament to curiosity and technological innovation. Suddenly, a massive energy signature bloomed on their long-range scanners. The ship's AI, Aria, spoke in her calm, synthesized voice, detecting unknown vessel. Composition does not match any known human or catalogued extraterrestrial designs. Elena leaned forward, her dark eyes reflecting the cascading data streams. Analysis, Aria. The vessel appears to be of Xyrax Confederation origin. Preliminary scans suggest advanced technological capabilities significantly different from our current understanding, Aria reported. The Xyrax Confederation was more than just another alien civilization. Intelligence reports suggested they were a technologically advanced but deeply hierarchical society, known for their rigid social structures and territorial expansionism. Marcus muttered under his breath, "This is going to be interesting." The Xyrax vessel, a massive triangular structure that seemed to shimmer and shift at its edges, slowly rotated to face the horizon. Its design suggested both incredible engineering and an aesthetic that was fundamentally alien, angles that shouldn't exist, surfaces that seemed to absorb and reflect light in impossible ways. A communication channel crackled to life. The language was initially incomprehensible, a series of clicks, harmonic tones, and rhythmic pulses that Aria's translation algorithms struggled to process. Attempting linguistic decryption, Aria announced. After several moments, a fragmented message emerged. Unidentified vessel, territorial violation, immediate retreat, consequences. Elena exchanged a glance with her second-in-command, Dr. Camille Okoye. Their mission was one of exploration and peaceful contact, not confrontation. But the Xyrax message left little room for diplomatic nuance. "They're essentially telling us to leave or face unspecified repercussions," Camille translated, his Nigerian accent adding a layer of calm to the tense situation. The crew watched as the Xyrax vessel began charging what appeared to be a massive energy weapon. Its surface rippled with electromagnetic potential, a clear demonstration of technological might intended to intimidate. What the Xyrax didn't understand was the fundamental nature of human curiosity and resilience. Where many species might retreat, humans saw an opportunity, a challenge to be understood, analyzed, and potentially transformed. Aria, activate Quantum Communication Protocol Alpha 9, Elena commanded. This was an experimental communication method developed specifically for first contact scenarios, designed to transmit complex mathematical and cultural information that transcended linguistic barriers. As the Xyrax weapon continued to charge, the Horizon remained calm, its crew united in their commitment to peaceful exploration and understanding. Little did the Xyrax know, they were about to encounter a species that would challenge everything they understood about interstellar diplomacy, technological adaptation, and the very nature of intelligent life. The first encounter between humans and the Xyrax Confederation was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same. The tension between the RSS Horizon and the Xyrax vessel hung in the void of space like a razor-thin membrane, ready to rupture at the slightest provocation. Elena Rodriguez watched the holographic displays, her fingers hovering near the communication interface, calculating every potential response. "They're scanning us," Marcus Chen announced, his voice tight with controlled anxiety. "But it's not a typical sensor sweep. This feels invasive." Aria's voice cut through the mounting tension. Detection of sophisticated data intrusion attempt. The Xyrax vessel is attempting to penetrate our quantum communication networks. Dr. Camille Okoye leaned forward, his scientific curiosity momentarily overriding his concern. They're trying to understand our communication protocols by force. Classic technological aggression. What the Xyrax didn't comprehend was the multilayered security built into human technological infrastructure. The Horizon wasn't just a research vessel, it was a fortress of digital defense, its systems designed with generations of cybersecurity innovations. Elena's voice was calm but firm. Aria, initiate quantum firewall protocol. Let them try to breach our systems. The next few moments would become a pivotal point in human-alien interaction. The Xyrax data probes crashed against the Horizon's quantum defenses like waves against an impenetrable cliff. Each attempt was not just blocked but analyzed, documented, and transformed into a learning opportunity. Fascinating, Marcus muttered. They're using a cascading algorithmic approach, but it's predictable. Almost mechanical. Unbeknownst to the Xyrax, every failed intrusion attempt was being recorded, analyzed, and integrated into an expanding database of alien technological methodologies. Humans didn't just defend, they learned, adapted, and prepared. Suddenly, the Xyrax vessel's external communication systems began to destabilize. Not through an aggressive counterattack, but through a subtle, almost elegant redirection of their own communication frequencies. We're not attacking, Elena explained to her bewildered crew. We're demonstrating. Showing them that their technological aggression is futile. Within minutes, the Xyrax vessel's communication systems were broadcasting a series of random, fragmented signals. Their own attempt at intrusion had been turned into a mirror reflecting their technological limitations. On the Xyrax command ship, Captain ZYXL stared in disbelief. Their most advanced technological infiltration team had been neutralized not through brute force, but through an almost philosophical deconstruction of their attack methodology. This is impossible, ZYXL communicated to their senior technological advisors. No species should be able to absorb and redirect our quantum intrusion protocols with such ease. The human response was unexpected. Instead of a retaliatory strike or defensive posturing, the RSS Horizon sent a simple, mathematically elegant communication, a prime number sequence that contained within its structure a complex invitation to dialogue. It was a message that said, simultaneously, we can defend ourselves, and we are open to communication. The crew of the Horizon watched as the Xyrax vessel momentarily went dark, its systems seemingly overwhelmed by the unexpected response. They didn't expect this, Camille observed. Most species would respond with aggression. We responded with intelligence. Elena smiled, a mix of scientific satisfaction and human determination in her expression. We're not most species. As the Xyrax vessel retreated to recalibrate its strategies, the Horizon's crew knew this was just the beginning. The first true test of human resilience and adaptability was about to unfold. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's strength wasn't just in its technological capabilities, but in its ability to transform potential conflict into an opportunity for understanding. The aftermath of the quantum communication encounter reverberated through both human and Xyrax communication networks. What began as a simple exploration mission had transformed into a complex dance of technological capability and psychological strategy. Back on the RSS Horizon, the crew worked with an intensity that bordered on collaborative artistry. Elena Rodriguez stood at the center of a holographic projection, watching as streams of data from the encounter with the Xyrax vessel were analyzed and transformed. They're going to retaliate, Marcus Chen predicted, his fingers dancing across multiple interface screens. But not in the way we might expect. Aria's voice provided context. Analysis suggests the Xyrax Confederation operates on a principle of hierarchical technological dominance. Our response has created a significant disruption in their expected interaction model. Dr. Camille Okoye pulled up a complex visualization of the previous encounter. Look at the pattern of their intrusion attempts. It's almost algorithmic, like a machine following a predetermined script. No flexibility, no adaptation. The human approach was fundamentally different. Where the Xyrax saw technology as a weapon, humans viewed it as a language, a means of communication, understanding, and problem-solving. Days passed, and the tension grew. The Xyrax were clearly planning something, their massive vessel maintaining a calculated distance from the horizon. Satellite and quantum communication networks monitored the developing situation, creating a web of technological anticipation. Then it happened. A coordinated attack on human communication infrastructure began. Not a direct military assault, but a sophisticated attempt to disrupt communication networks across multiple human colonies and research outposts. The attack was clever. Quantum signal disruptions, algorithmic interference, attempts to create communication blind spots that would isolate human settlements. To most species, this would have been devastating. But humans had learned to build resilience into their systems. "They're targeting our communication relays," Elena announced, her voice calm despite the magnitude of the attack. "But they don't understand how we've designed our networks." Instead of a centralized communication system, human networks were designed with a revolutionary principle: distributed intelligence. Each communication node was not just a receiver, but an adaptive learning system. When one node was compromised, others would instantly reconfigure, creating new communication pathways. Marcus watched in fascination as the Xyrax attack essentially mapped out human communication infrastructure, inadvertently providing humans with more information about their potential adversaries. "They're creating their own vulnerability," he muttered. The human response was both defensive and remarkably innovative. Instead of simply blocking the Xyrax interference, the Horizons team began to use the attack as an opportunity to study Xyrax communication technologies. Arya began generating complex mathematical models that could predict and neutralize the Xyrax interference. But more than that, the AI was learning, adapting, creating communication strategies that were becoming increasingly sophisticated. "We're not just defending," Elena explained to her crew. "We're turning their attack into a learning opportunity." Within hours, the Xyrax discovered something unprecedented. Their sophisticated attack wasn't just being defended against, it was being studied, understood, and transformed into a new form of communication protocol. ZYXL, the Xyrax command captain, received reports that sent shockwaves through their technological command structure. The humans weren't just resisting, they were evolving their technological capabilities in real time, using the very attack designed to disable them as a tool for advancement. It was a fundamental misunderstanding of human nature. Conflict, for humans, was never just about survival. It was about growth, understanding, and turning challenges into opportunities. The technological warfare had begun, but the Xyrax were quickly realizing they were fighting an opponent unlike any they had encountered before. The Horizon continued its journey, its crew working with a calm determination that spoke volumes about human resilience and innovation. The quantum echoes of technological warfare continued to ripple through the vast expanse of space, creating a tension that seemed to vibrate with potential energy. The RSS Horizon had become more than just a research vessel, it was now a symbol of human adaptability and intellectual resilience. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the Central Command Station, her eyes reflecting the cascading holographic displays that mapped the complex interactions with the Xyrax Confederation. The crew worked with a synchronicity that defied traditional military or scientific protocols, each member an integral part of a living, breathing system of problem-solving. "They're preparing something," Dr. Kamil Okoye announced, his voice a mixture of scientific curiosity and strategic caution. "The pattern of their communication disruptions is changing. It's becoming more deliberate." Arya, the ship's AI, processed vast streams of data in microseconds, detecting a shift in Xyrax communication strategies. They are no longer attempting pure technological disruption. There's an underlying pattern that suggests a more complex objective. Marcus Chen zoomed in on a particularly intricate data stream. They're not just trying to attack our systems anymore. They're trying to understand them. The Zyrax had reached a critical moment of realization. Their initial assumptions about human technological capabilities had been comprehensively dismantled. What began as an attempt to demonstrate superiority had transformed into a reluctant recognition of human potential. On the Zyrax command vessel, Captain Zywaxal experienced something unprecedented in their hierarchical culture: uncertainty. The human response to their technological probing had been nothing short of revolutionary. Each attack had been met not with simple defense, but with a form of adaptive intelligence that seemed to learn and grow in real time. We are dealing with a species that does not follow our expected technological paradigms, Zywaxal communicated to their senior advisors. The communication was laden with a mix of frustration and a growing sense of respect. The turning point came unexpectedly. As the Zyrax prepared what they believed would be a definitive technological assault, the Horizon did something completely unanticipated. Instead of preparing defensive measures, Elena Rodriguez instructed Arya to open a comprehensive communication channel. Not a defensive barrier, but an invitation to dialogue. "We're going to show them who we are," she told her crew. The communication was a masterpiece of human creativity. It wasn't a simple message, but a complex transmission that included mathematical sequences, cultural snippets, scientific discoveries, and most importantly, an underlying message of peaceful exploration. Mathematical theorems danced with cultural music. Scientific discoveries intertwined with artistic expressions. It was a holistic representation of human potential, a civilization that saw no boundaries between science, art, culture, and exploration. The Zyrax communication systems were flooded with a transmission that defied their understanding of interspecies communication. It wasn't an attack. It wasn't a defense. It was an invitation to understand. Marcus watched in awe as the transmission created ripples in the quantum communication networks. "They won't know how to process this," he muttered. And he was right. The Zyrax were confronted with a communication that challenged their entire understanding of technological and cultural interaction. It wasn't about winning or losing. It was about sharing, understanding, growing. Zywaxal and the Zyrax leadership found themselves in uncharted territory. Their hierarchical system of technological dominance was being challenged by a fundamentally different approach to existence, one that saw potential where they saw only conflict. The transmission continued, a beacon of human complexity and potential. Mathematical equations flowed into musical compositions. Scientific discoveries merged with cultural narratives. It was a complete representation of human civilization, messy, beautiful, unpredictable, and infinitely adaptable. For the first time, the Zyrax were forced to confront a species that didn't fit into their predetermined understanding of galactic interaction. The turning point had arrived. And nothing would be the same again. The quantum communication transmission from the RSS Horizon hung in space like a complex, living tapestry, a testament to human creativity that had fundamentally disrupted the Zyrax Confederation's understanding of interstellar communication. Captain Zywaxal experienced something unprecedented, a moment of genuine intellectual humility. The transmission they had received was not a weapon, not a defense mechanism, but something far more complex, a comprehensive invitation to mutual understanding. "Analyze the transmission," Zywaxal commanded their senior communication specialists. "But do not approach it as a threat. Approach it as a conversation." This was a radical departure from Zyrax protocol. Their civilization had been built on hierarchical dominance, on the principle that technological superiority equated to cultural supremacy. The humans had just demonstrated that true communication was something entirely different. On the horizon, Elena Rodriguez watched the delayed response with a mixture of scientific anticipation and diplomatic hope. "They're processing our transmission differently now," she observed to her crew. "Not as an attack, but as a dialogue." Dr. Camille Okoye pulled up a complex visualization of the communication patterns. "Look at how they're attempting to decode our transmission." They're not just looking for threats anymore, they're trying to understand the underlying principles. Arya, the ship's AI, provided continuous analysis. The Zyrax communication protocols are showing signs of adaptive learning. They are attempting to understand the holistic nature of our transmission, the integration of scientific, artistic, and cultural information. The breakthrough came in an unexpected form. Instead of a military response or a continued technological assault, the Zyrax sent back a transmission that was equally complex, but fundamentally different from their previous communications. It was a representation of their own cultural complexity. Mathematical sequences that represented their evolutionary history, musical patterns that communicated their social structures, scientific discoveries that revealed their understanding of the universe. Marcus Chen watched in amazement. "They're doing exactly what we did," he said softly. "They're showing us who they are." The diplomatic dance had begun. ZYXL understood now that the humans were not simply another species to be conquered or categorized. They were a dynamic, complex civilization that defied traditional understanding of interstellar interaction. The transmission revealed deep layers of Zyrax culture that had never been exposed to outside civilizations. Their hierarchical structure was not just a military concept, but a complex social adaptation that had allowed them to survive in challenging cosmic environments. Elena recognized the profound significance of this moment. "We're not just exchanging information," she told her crew. "We're creating a new form of interstellar communication." Arya processed the nuanced communication, creating complex models of potential diplomatic interactions. The AI was doing more than analyzing, it was learning, adapting, creating potential pathways for mutual understanding. The Zyrax were experiencing their own internal transformation. Their rigid hierarchical system was being challenged by the human approach, a method of interaction that saw potential in difference rather than threat in the unknown. "We must reconsider our entire approach to first contact," ZYXL communicated to their leadership. The transmission carried a tone that was unprecedented in Zyrax communication, a mixture of respect, curiosity, and genuine wonder. The Horizon continued its journey, but now it was more than a research vessel. It had become a bridge between civilizations, a living demonstration of humanity's capacity for peaceful exploration and mutual understanding. The diplomatic breakthrough was not about winning or losing. It was about recognizing the profound potential that exists when different civilizations approach each other with curiosity instead of fear. The quantum communication channels between the RSS Horizon and the Zyrax command vessel had transformed from a potential battlefield into a conduit of unprecedented interstellar diplomacy. What had begun as a confrontation was now a delicate dance of mutual understanding. In the weeks following their initial breakthrough, human and Zyrax communication teams worked tirelessly to bridge the vast cultural and technological gaps that had once seemed insurmountable. Elena Rodriguez found herself at the center of a diplomatic revolution that would reshape galactic interaction. "We're not just establishing first contact," she explained during a briefing with her crew. "We're creating an entirely new model of interspecies communication." Arya, the ship's AI, had become an instrumental tool in this process. The artificial intelligence processed complex communication patterns, creating nuanced translation matrices that went far beyond simple language conversion. It was translating cultural context, emotional undertones, and philosophical implications. ZYXL, the Zyrax command captain, had undergone a profound transformation. Their once rigid hierarchical perspective was now being rewritten by the human approach to exploration and understanding. The Zyrax were learning that strength was not about domination, but about adaptability and mutual growth. A joint research initiative began to take shape. Human scientists and Zyrax technological experts started collaborating on projects that would have been unimaginable just months earlier. They explored quantum communication technologies, shared scientific discoveries, and began to understand the unique strengths of each civilization. The most fascinating aspect, Dr. Camille Okoye noted during one of their collaborative sessions, is how differently we approach problem solving. The Zyrax are incredibly structured, while humans thrive on creative unpredictability. This difference became their greatest strength. The Galactic Council, which had long been a stagnant bureaucratic entity, watched the human-Zyrax interaction with growing interest. For the first time in centuries, there was potential for genuine, meaningful diplomatic progress. Marcus Chen discovered something extraordinary during their ongoing communication analysis. They're not just sharing information, he told Elena. They're fundamentally changing how they perceive communication itself. The breakthrough extended beyond technological and diplomatic realms. The Zyrax began to understand the human concept of empathy, a principle entirely foreign to their previous hierarchical system. Humans, in turn, gained insights into the Zyrax's remarkable ability to create complex, interconnected societal structures. A formal diplomatic agreement took shape. But it was unlike any previous interstellar treaty. This was not a document of limitations, but a framework of mutual exploration and understanding. We propose, the joint declaration read, a new model of galactic interaction based on curiosity, mutual respect, and the recognition that diversity is the greatest strength of intelligent life. The RSS Horizon became more than a research vessel. It was now a symbol of what was possible when civilizations approached each other with open minds and genuine curiosity. As they prepared to explore further reaches of space together, Elena Rodriguez reflected on the journey. What had begun as a potential conflict had transformed into something far more meaningful, a testament to the human capacity for understanding, adaptation, and hope. The stars outside seemed to shimmer with new possibility. Humanity had not conquered the Zyrax. They had something far more powerful, they had connected with them. The universe watched, and waited, for what would come next.